Hey guys, I'm Celeste. I'm currently a student at Flinders University. I'm coming to you today from a webinar situation. Usually I would be in person with you presenting this, but under the current circumstances, everything's a little bit different, so bear with me. Pretty much I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about my experience from transitioning from high school to university and what that was like for me. I'm going to start off with that dreaded question, which we've all heard a lot. It was, what are you going to do after year 12? For me, that was just the leap. I hated hearing that question. Pretty much, I had a very vague idea of what I wanted to do after I graduated high school. I knew that university was potentially something that I was looking at going ahead with and finding a degree that suited me, but I really didn't have any set degree in mind, and I was just trying to keep my options open with working towards getting the best ATAR I could, just so I didn't limit any of my opportunities going forward. So for me, I graduated only in 2018, so I'm still feeling very new out of high school. But I can guarantee you that when I was in year 12, I was very, very envious of my peers who had a very clear mindset of what they wanted to do in university. Some of them were sure that they were going to be a paramedic or a school teacher, and I was really the opposite. I had no idea. I knew that, yes, as I said, university was for me, but what I was going to do was a whole different avenue. I didn't know what I was going to study. So for me at the time, I did spend a lot of time going to the open nights and reading the brochures provided. I know with COVID-19 at the moment that those opportunities in person, sort of the open nights and open days as well, I know that isn't as much something that you can do at the moment, but I do really encourage you to read the brochures that are provided. My degree, which I'll get into a little bit more in a moment, was actually one that I found just reading through a brochure and went, oh, cool, that sounds like something for me. So keep that in mind, I guess, as I talk through these things that for me, the experience may have been slightly different with everything going on currently. There will be a few different things that you'll have to take into account, but we'll talk through those anyway. So the path I took in the end, I decided to study a Bachelor of Tourism and Events. At the time, that was actually a new degree at Flinders University, so I guess there wasn't anyone that I could talk to about that degree and say, what is it like? Do you think it'd be right for me? But I was really just intrigued by sort of the opportunities it might hold. And it is very much an ever-changing industry, as we can definitely see at the moment with COVID-19. That industry has obviously gone one way, but I'm really excited to see how sort of after all of this pans out, where that will go and what will happen with the industry. So even though it has ups and downs, I'm still really excited by where I might find myself when I graduate from Flinders University and where that could take me. I've also decided to combine my degree with a Bachelor of Business and Human Resource Management. I guess for me, at the end of the day, that was my safe option. But it was also just, I guess, a fallback if I didn't really love tourism and events. But I'm in the start of my second year now, and I can guarantee that I love both of my degrees just as much. And I am so happy that I went ahead and decided to combine my degrees. For me, it was study for 3 years for one degree or do 4 years of study and come out with 2 degrees. And because I couldn't pick between the two, that extra year of study seemed like a no-brainer for me, and I'm super happy with where I am at the moment with all of that. In terms of the difference between high school to university, the biggest thing that I found was the fact that you decide what you want to do. I guess we're so stuck through high school of having our teachers and our parents and all these people above us sort of helping us through high school, which is fantastic. And believe me, it was a shock when I graduated from high school and I was sort of going into this university world of you make your own decisions, but it was fantastic. And I would really like to sort of stress, I guess, that there are still so many support facilities at university. At Flinders University, we particularly have a few unique, almost clubs, I guess, to us that help with that transition as well. So I've got it written on the screen here, a few things that I would suggest for support. So you obviously have your academic staff. That's when you start your degree. You have your lecturers, your tutor teachers, and topic coordinators you can contact directly in regards to your work. There's Flinders Connect, where you can pretty much ask questions, whether that be in regards to how your course is going, whether you want to defer or whether you want to change degrees. We have our Student Learning Centre. You can just get general support there. We've got health, disability and counselling services on campus. There's also something that we call FUSA, which is Flinders University Business Association. That's more of almost like a way to meet people. It's more of a club, and they run heaps of cool activities and events throughout the year as well, which is fantastic. And one that I really wanted to focus on today was actually your own connections. I know going into university is going to feel like, and it did feel like I was completely on my own and that I didn't know anyone else around me. But to be completely honest, it wasn't until I actually just threw myself at it that I realised I had plenty of people I knew. You're going to have your peers that you're with at the moment at high school. You're going to find people that you knew in primary school. You'll find that you have friends that you know that you used to play sport with somewhere. There are so many different connections in university that you don't realise you have until you actually just throw yourself at it. But know that there is support on campus and out of campus as well, at home with your family and friends. Another thing that I really sort of struggled to get my head around was university and work balance. For me, I knew that I definitely wanted to work during my studies just to earn money. Obviously, I'm doing tourism events. I love the idea of travelling, so a lot of my savings go towards potential travel plans as well. So as you can see, I've got my timetable up on the screen at the moment. It's probably going to seem a little bit jumbled, and believe me, it is a little bit. But pretty much from that, I can tell you that I study 2 days a week, and I dedicate those 2 days completely to just head down study full days. I also do work 3 days a week, which keeps me busy. Don't get me wrong, it keeps me busy, but with that balance for me, it means that I can have my weekends free, and that's just golden in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, you'll see me studying on the weekends and doing assignments, but at the end of the day, I have that time to really put my head down during the week to have that weekend free. And keep in mind that this is me studying a double degree as well, so you can see that your timetables are absolutely flexible. And obviously right now there are so many online learning opportunities nowadays as well that you can sort of balance contact hours on campus as well as study at home, which is absolutely fantastic. So that's not something to stress about too much until obviously you're going forward with creating your own timetables if university is for you. But I just want to put it out there because that was something that I didn't realise I would be able to do myself, is this study and work, and be able to manage that quite easily as well. Now, just generally, I wanted to leave you with a bit of my advice more than anything. I know that sounds sort of, what am I going to say to you? But I'm just coming from a point of what I wanted to hear when I was in your position, trying to make these big decisions. So the biggest thing for me is to tell you that you need to make these choices for yourself. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what your parents want you to do, what your friends think you should do, or what, potentially if your friend's doing nursing, maybe you feel pressure to do nursing just so you're together. At the end of the day, it's completely your decision, and you need to pick something that's going to benefit you in the long run as well. So really make sure that those choices are something that you're passionate about and they're made on behalf of you. I put in there try something new. University in itself is new, so that is overwhelming enough at the start, don't get me wrong. But I put that in there because there are so many different clubs and different activities that you can throw yourself at in university that just encourage you to really take up the university life as well. I put in there get to know your campus. The reason I say that is because when you have back-to-back classes like I do, it's actually quite funny sort of trying to run between them, not knowing where you are. I remember being so lost and stopping people on the way and saying, sort of, where do I go? And if you just spend that time during, I guess, your orientation week, if you spend time really getting to know your campus, it will do you a world of wonders. And I really do just suggest doing that. As silly as it sounds, it is definitely a piece of advice from me. I've put on there as well, focus on your end goal. The reason I put that on there is there is going to be bumps along the way. A good example of this is, of course, currently with COVID-19, all of our learning, and I'm sure with you guys as well, have gone completely online, and it's different, it's new technology, and it's really tricky. But I can pretty much guarantee that come the time where I'm graduating, I will probably look back at this time and barely remember that that was even a part of my studies. Because at the end of the day, when you're graduating from year 12, when you're graduating from your university degree, you will just be so proud that you made it to the end, that those little bumps along the way don't even matter. So when you're stressing out on that assignment or the fact that you're behind in lectures or tutorials, just remind yourself that you're doing this for one reason, and that is obviously different for everyone. For me, it's to graduate and set myself up for a future that is a future that I want to live, I guess, as well. Another one that I put on there is, I guess, an obvious one in some ways, is just to seek support. It's so easy to go through university and become almost sort of hidden back and away from people a little bit. It's really important though to, when you're having trouble, just seek that support and that advice from whether that be your topic coordinator or your tute teacher, whether you go to Ask Blinders and pop in just a little question on there. It's really important to just ask and seek support where you need it, because it will make your life a lot easier going forward. And finally, I'm sure you've heard it before, but just enjoy university life. As I said, I study 3 days a week, and that has taken me, I guess, away from the university a little bit. But when I'm at uni on campus, I try and make the most of my time here, because it is a very different experience that you won't understand until you're here in university, sort of soaking it all up for yourself. But really do just take it in and enjoy every moment of university, because it is none other. So please, yeah, consider that as well. Lovely, and that pretty much wraps us up for today. I do want to stress, of course, under the circumstances, as I mentioned, your open days and open nights aren't as available as what they would have been for me. So I've just popped up on the screen here, we have got obviously our Flinders University page, we've got our Facebook page, the Ask Flinders that I mentioned. If you have any questions about anything to do with your degree, how you need to enrol, any questions at all, I do really stress that you go online to ask those. Don't just think that you haven't got anyone that you can go to for support now, because you still do. So just take the time out to have a look at those as well and ask any questions about anything. And don't forget those brochures, they can all be found online, because you might just find your degree in there just like I did. I hope, if nothing else, you've just had a bit of a giggle at me trying to film this today, and I really do hope that in some way I've been able to sort of help you through that nervous feeling of finishing high school and going on to the big scary world. So sorry I couldn't be here in person to give this presentation to you today, but I hope that you're all happy and safe and healthy at home with your families, and good luck for your future. Bye.